excited to see y'all. And we have such a great team meeting for you today. I'm so excited about it. So we're going to jump into it. Tell me something good. What good news do you have to share in your world?
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad, nothing good.
I got nothing, Sarah.
Okay, all right.
2 more listings ago this week.
Way to go. Where did those come from?
One is a SOI.
Okay.
And the other one's a letter.
A golden letter? A golden letter. That's so exciting. Y'all, Chip has had really, really great success with golden letters. So if you're thinking about implementing that or you've been on the fence or whatever, talk to Chip. He's done amazing with picking up this idea and running with it. And that is awesome. Congratulations. All right. I don't think that Tiffany is here yet. So we'll hear from her whenever she gets here. But we have some other vendor partners in the room. If you don't mind standing up and saying hello.
Hey, Frank Cooper with Atlanta Property Inspections. We have a great team. We'd love to be part of your team.
Sammy Baker, Contractors Best Pest Control.
Jacqueline with Peachtree Interiors, floor coverings, window coverings.
Hi. I'm one of y'all. World Financial Group, just remember a lot of changes are happening in the financial world, and if you guys need any assistance with that, you can call.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right, August, we are running our contest. So you'll see that all of these classes have points values to them. We have some really amazing classes coming up. Also, after today's team meeting, there is a lunch and learn with Joy James with Guarantee Mortgage. And so you want to make sure that you stick around for that. We're talking all about FHA and VA loans. So these are starting to become more common in the marketplace, and we're getting these accepted for buyers. And so you need to know how to handle those if you're on the listing side, and special things that you need to know if you're on the buying side when dealing with those loans. Next team meeting next week, we've got Jason Bonds in the house. So I want to make sure that you mark that on your calendar and that you're here. We have a lot of other great classes. We have our month in mixer at Stillfire Brewery. That's going to be a fun one. We'll do a mega camp agent panel. So we'll share with you everything about what we learned at mega camp for those agents that are going in person. And then you really want to make sure that you save August 30th on your calendar. That's when we're having Ann Sepko do a listing mastermind and role play. That's going to be very, very exciting to see that in person. This is a fun one that came out of the career development committee. So we have Jerry Gould that's going to be doing a smoker demonstration out in the pavilion next Friday, August 19th. And so we're doing a little cookout as well. So I heard he smokes amazing meats. And so we'll get to test that out and sample it and have a really, really great, yummy lunch. All right. Eileen, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, if you guys are around or working from the market center or something new, we're hoping to maybe have this every month from the culture committee. Just come by tomorrow morning in here. Not tomorrow, Thursday. And I'm gonna bring K-cups for your coffee, some good coffee and creamer, and we're gonna make it fun. And we have some agent being interviewed, and just a way to connect, especially if you're newer. Like, it's a good way if you don't just a good way to connect. So stop by. And I was also going to say, like, next week's meeting is always a great meeting to invite somebody when Jason does the market stats, because it blows me away how many people are just clueless. What's going on? You know, like, they don't have the information and the sharing that we have in our company.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, so if you have a guest that you would like to invite to next week's team meeting, please make sure that you get them in here. I'd also love an opportunity to talk to them and hopefully get them in your downline and invite them to be an agent at KW or starting to build that relationship. Also, a good thing about Jason's meeting is that he gives us so much great information, and it makes you a much smarter agent, but it's also like really great information that you can then steal and repurpose and go share that with your database in your sphere and talk to them. And you sound like really, really smart and amazing. And you have these really cool graphics that you can share as well that we share with you, those graphics that come from him. And so not only are you educating yourself, but you can also then turn around and use that same information to go out and educate your clients in your database as well. So great point. Thanks, Eileen. All right, we talked about our contest. So you have a chance to win a prize ticket to either family reunion or bold. And so that's a class that's going to be coming up in October. You'll be hearing a lot more about that soon. Or a MAPS coaching call or a one-on-one business consultation with Jason. So thank you for being here and earning your points today. And this is our leaderboard so far for our points. We are keeping track of those for you. So everything you attend, we're watching you. So we're noting that down. All right, we talked about Mega Camp. You can still get a digital ticket or in person if you want to catch a flight and go out there with us. It's really fun. But you can do a digital access to that. And so for those of you that don't know what Mega Camp is, that is, it's a 2-day conference and it is geared towards agents that are doing a production of like 5 million or above. That doesn't mean that you have to have that level of qualification, but really the content is geared towards those agents. And so it's panels, it's classes, it's really high level training and learning together around those topics. And they will be streaming that online as well.
Is the Market Center doing anything for the digital?
We are not. So from what we've learned from people that have done it together in the past is that kind of like staying together in a room all day long gets really long. So if you're gonna, you might as well want to be in your comfy pants on your couch with a beverage, coffee in the morning, whatever you want in the afternoon, watching these classes. So, but yeah, great question. Thank you. All right, next Thursday, you want to mark this on your calendar. We are going to have a really great lunch and learn with Homeward. They're going to be here in person sharing with us how you can leverage Homeward in your business. And so you want to make sure that you bring your laptop to this class. We're going to be actually doing kind of like a workshop together and using this. I'll have to admit, whenever I heard that they wanted to do this class, I was like, man, they're like a year too late on this, right? We don't need them anymore. Like the market's changing, don't they know? And yet the conversation that we had around it, they presented to the ALC and we got a chance to ask questions and talk about this. There's like some really amazing things that got brought up in that. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. You're going to be able to use this in your business to help gain clients, to help win over sellers, to help save deals. And so we're going to be sharing all of that with you of how you can leverage this. And it's just a tool in your toolbox, even if your clients don't even use them. But there was some really great information that was shared there that you're going to want to know. So make sure that you come to that class and get a great lunch out of it too. Lunch is good. All right, this is this Thursday, Career Day and Career Night. We talked about this last week. So if you have someone that's thinking about getting started, make sure that you invite them. We'd love to host them and have them. We do it online and in person during the day, and then just online at night.
Is that graphic floating around somewhere?
We do, yes. There is on our public Facebook page, there's an Eventbrite or event there, and then also in our private Facebook group, there's a graphic there that you can share and invite as well. Yeah, good question. All right, just making sure you know, we can hold earnest money up to $10,000. We shared this, we discovered in our Facebook group that people didn't know this. We shared this last team meeting, but just want to make sure we share it with you again to make sure that you know that is now available. Also want to make sure you know that we have new disclosure forms.
Yeah, where are those?
Yes, good question. Where are those, Kay?
Where are those?
So
They're
if
not
you...
in DocuSign yet, are they?
They're not in DocuSign yet. We're working on it. And they are in command. Whenever you go to an opportunity and you see all those fields where you can upload documents, there is required brokerage disclosures. You'll see a placeholder for that. Click on this and it'll pop open all the disclosures that you'll need. We also sent them out in an email attachment before as well. So that would have come from Alicia. So you can either search for that email from Alicia, or you can go into command and click on that required brokerage disclosures and you'll see everything there. Any questions about these?
If you submit a contract to Kelly and Sora Ann without that, they will email you immediately saying, you forgot to send us over, so I got my hands smacked a little bit.
Yes, that is right. Yeah, thank you for sharing. But yes, and so you might get your opportunity kickback from compliance if you don't have those brokerage disclosures in there. They all know that we're working through this. This is the new process. Yeah, don't worry about it. Keep going, get them signed. All right, we are excited today. We have Allison Glennie in person. Allison runs the Glennie Group out of Peachtree City, And I'm so excited for y'all to hear her story and learn from her. She is talking to us today about how she and her team are listing houses in this shifting market. She runs an MREA team, and for those of you that don't know, that stands for a Millionaire Real Estate Agent team, and that's a huge accomplishment in our KW world. So we're excited that she drove all the way from Peachtree City to be here today in person. So welcome, Allison, Glennie.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm gonna have a water up here because the allergies, whatever is blooming right now, it's like,
It's going.
let me put my stuff down. I love the fact that I heard someone say, was it you or the guy in red?
Chip.
Chip, you're doing golden letters and you're having success. I love that. I'm actually going to talk about that here in a minute. I am, so I'm going to just, there we go. All right, so just a little bit about me. So she did share, and thank you so much. I just want to tell you about my team because I want you guys just to know more about me as I talk. So we are a team of 9. We have an admin. We have a marketing coordinator part-time, 1 transaction coordinator, 1 lead buyer's agent with 3 buyer's agents underneath her, and then myself, 1 listing specialist. We are in the works of actually hiring a listing manager at the moment, and she'll be at Mega Camp with us. But we were founded in November of 2008, an MREA team for the last 2 years, and we'll be hitting it again this 3 years. So for 3 years. So we are south of you guys a good bit. So this is the area that we service. All right, so with listings, right now we have 2 obstacles. And I'll tell you, if you're anything like my team has been like killing it on the listing side, and our buyers agents have been like struggling. Well, almost overnight, that flopped. Now my buyers agents, they are getting several under contract every week. They are winning huge. And one thing that I'm noticing is that our sellers are really kind of backtracking. It's getting difficult. So the thing that we're looking at is like, where do we find them right now? So where are the listings? And then when we find them, how do we stand out against the crowd? And that's another thing, because what's happened in the last several years is that we have so many new agents. You talk to anyone, they all say, oh, I know agents. Everyone knows agents. And right now we know that it's going to take us being the professional of choice for them to really obtain that listing and obtain their trust. Can I get a hands, like how many of you have been in the market, been in the industry for 6 months or less? Okay, what about a year less? Okay, then, all right, who's been in the market for 3 years or more? Okay, so we have, and then 5 years or more? Okay, what about 10 years and more? Okay, all right, awesome. So you guys have seen this. Are you excited about this?
Absolutely.
Yes, I love that. I thought you were about to say absolutely not. I'm like, no, be excited. I'm excited too. People hear recession and they get so nervous and they think that's bad, but this is such a great opportunity. And the way to look at it is that you have to sometimes pull back to sling forward, correct? So this is a great opportunity for all of us that are pouring into education and learning. So, okay. Sorry, I don't know why it's not. Anyway, it says, where are they? Okay, so one of the things that I know I had to do was really go back and look at our sources. Do you know what your main 2 sources for listings are? Do y'all know? Not for transactions, not listings and buyers, because I guarantee you it's different. for your listings, I did this activity, really kind of broke it down because every year we when we go over it with our team, we always look at it as a whole. Like, okay, our biggest source is sphere of influence, then past client. However, for listings, our biggest source is agent referral, and then it's past client. So when you know that, that is when you want to get really hyper focused in that. And that agent referral for me is actually some relationships that I have with a property management company. So something to think about. If you have a relationship with a property management company, they are a huge, huge source for business. So I do have one of those that whenever his investors, they want to liquidate, he'll bring it to me and I will sell the property and I refer him some on that. So now, also on top of those, once you know those two things and you want to get hyper focused on that, then I would also just kind of think of one or two other things that you can be focusing on. So for myself, I'm really looking at golden letters. That's something that I started doing probably at the beginning of this year. And one thing that I realized is that it's you have to play with it. I know if I do it in Peachtree City, we don't get any callbacks. And I think the reason is because we have a market center in Peachtree City, we have a market center in Newnan, and we have a lot of agents right there in that area. And I think everyone's getting them and they're just being inundated with them. So one thing that we found is that when we went out to kind of the outskirts where there's really no market centers, there's not a lot of agents, if we start sending them to those neighborhoods, we're getting lots of phone calls. And some of them, like I'll send them like every 3 weeks and I'm still getting phone calls and some really great listings and buyers for our team. Another thing that we do is our open houses. So we door knock around our listings and I do the 5-5-5 rule. Have y'all heard of the 5-5-5 rule? Yeah. So basically you have a listing, because when we think door knocking, what's it? Does anyone here love door knocking? Yeah, I love door knocking. Yeah. However, door knocking can be really nerve-wracking, because if you have a house in a neighborhood, even if it's a small neighborhood, you could have like 50 homes in that neighborhood. And it just like, well, how am I going to door knock that neighborhood? Well, the 5-5-5 rule, you're going to do 5 to the left, 5 to the right, and then 5 in front. So you're hitting the neighborhood, the neighbors right there. Now, if you could do more, wonderful, but that is our minimum, is a 5-5-5. And then also inviting the neighbors to the open house. So it gives me a reason to be knocking on their door, or if I want to send them the letter, more like a listing golden letter, it gives me a reason to be sending that to them. And then when I send it to them and then I come door knock, I can say, did you get my invite? So it starts the conversation, and it's a great way for those sellers to feel comfortable to come to your open house. And we've actually had some good success of getting clients through that. We actually had one that came, and it wasn't even, he didn't want to sell his personal home. It was actually selling his mother's home. And he was just really impressed by how we handled the sell of his neighbor's house, that he was like, I really appreciate that, because there's other homes that have sold in the neighborhood. And he was like, no, I don't see anyone out here selling the home, but we saw you selling the home. So we got his permission to sell his mother's home, so, which was nice. And then I put vendor calls, because that goes back to, for me, our number one source for listings is a property management company and other agents as well. But my vendors, I have a great relationship with them, and they are out in homes all day long. And so they'll give me they'll text me and say, hey, this address, they're getting it ready, and kind of give me a little bit of info. And then I could either go door knock or find their reverse. I'm really good like a detective. I mean, we're all like, should have been detectives, I swear, because we'll figure out all the info. So our vendors, you really want to pour into them and remind them, hey, if you're in a home or you're talking to people, please send them my way. We started this year in February, we did a vendor event where we invited all of our vendors to come to a local brewery, and just wanted to thank them for all their support, for helping our team, helping our clients, and to kind of prep them for we're going to need your help throughout the year. So they do help a lot of our events and open houses, stuff like that. So you're training them how to send you referrals. So any questions about any of this? No? Yeah.
Make sure, can you explain the 5-by-5 rule? Because
Yes.
I've heard that more in social media.
Yeah.
I've heard more of like the 10-10 rule on
Okay.
door knocking and stuff like that. So help me understand. Sure.
So 5-5. So you have a home. You're going to go to the 5 homes to the left, 5 homes to the right, and then 5 homes in front or behind. Okay. So you're just hitting all the way around. Now
10-10. So I always say 10 across, 10 down the side.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Yes.
You're just 5 more than me. 5 more than me. However, we send out, so we have 2 letters. We have a golden letter for like, we have a buyer for your property. And then we have another like golden letter that's for our listings. And we typically do 2 for those. So we'll send out the listing, one of like, hey, we're selling your neighbor's property. And we send that out to like at least 100 homes around the listing. Okay. So that neighborhood they're all getting it. Now, when we door knock for the open house to invite them, I'm asking them, did you get our letter? And it's just a great way of starting that communication. So, and letting them know that was me that sent the letter, because they get so much that they don't know you from anyone else. So it's connecting, it's that 2 pieces of touch and connecting those 2. And then if they come to the open house, and it's like 3 times that I've kind of integrated myself, you know, in their thinking. And then when we go under contract, we send out another one to those same at least 100 that says, you know, we went under contract, and if we had multiple offers, that's changing some. So our letters kind of having to change, but before it was huge, because we would say, you know, we had, you know, multiple offers, and we have 8 buyers that missed out, possible more. So if you're thinking about selling, please let us know, and let's discuss your options. Now that's having to change, obviously, with the market. Okay, so are y'all reading the Shift book? Have y'all done that as a market center or anything? Okay. Who has read the Shift? Okay. I would really recommend doing it again. So this is a quote: the people who achieve extraordinary results don't achieve them by working more hours. They achieve them by getting more done in the hours they work. So we have to go back to the basics right now. What got us here won't get us there. We've all heard that. So basically we have been focusing on, we've got to get back to lead generation. So we are back, our team, we're in the office. Most of us work better that way for us. But we are lead generating 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. And we just have to get back in front of our people and get back to the basics on that. We are script practicing. So if you're not script practicing, this is the time that we really need to be doing that, because the objections that we're seeing right now have completely changed. I'm sure you guys in your market, you're seeing that as much as we are. But I mean, even just in 2-3 weeks time, we're hearing stuff where it's like, oh my goodness, I haven't heard this since like 2018, you know, or probably ever. So we are definitely having to do our script practicing just to make sure that we are prepared for the conversations. And then time blocking for success. Time blocking for me starts the night before. Basically, if I can, before I leave the office, because I know how I am when I get home, before I leave the office, I basically look at the next day and I'm like, okay, what does my day look like? And what is my one thing for the day? Because our one thing right now for me is lead generating for listings and lead generating for listings for my team. So I know that is the one thing that I could easily push because I am working on the business or I'm doing all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do it Wednesday. And then Wednesday comes, okay, I'm just going to lead generate all day Thursday. I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there. So if I do it the night before and I just make sure that that is there and I am being really accurate with that and seeing what's on my schedule that needs to be pushed. Ben Kinney, actually, I was able to spend some time with him this past summer and he shared a secret. So he called with me that if you need to cancel an appointment, you reach out to that person and you say, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be able to meet tomorrow, but do you mind just reaching out to me next week and let's reschedule? And he's like, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to, if it's not important, they're not going to reschedule. And a lot of times we have to do that because as business owners, we have so many people that want our time and we could quickly figure out that there's a lot of time suckers and a lot of meetings that we go to that you're just thinking, I shouldn't even be here. There's no reason for this. So remember that it works. We only had to use it a couple times. And then be where your feet are. That's the biggest one for me. As a mama, I realized before I started my team, I had an Apple Watch and I see a few of you with them. I had the notifications on there. So I was constantly a slave to this. Basically mean I was a slave to my phone. And it came to a head when I was bathing my daughter and I was basically on the phone talking about an inspection report. And it just, it made me realize, I was like, wait a second, this is our last child. And now that she's 8, she takes showers. She does not want mom in there. You know, I'm just like, these years are so precious. Like I need to be where my feet are at. And I owe that to my family and to myself. So that has just been like a motto of mine. So if I'm at the office and if I'm following my time block, I need to be focused on that because then when I get home and I'm with my family, I don't have that guilt. And I know a lot of you know what I mean. Like you're at home and you're thinking, crap, I need to text that, you know, roofer. Did you go over to da-da-da? You know, you got all those things. So be where your feet are and ask yourself, am I present where I'm at? Because it's a challenge to have to do that. Okay. So one thing I really want to talk about here, I did not bring my glasses, that's okay. Experience. So one of the biggest things that I know for myself is that I want when people meet me, these sellers meet me, I want them to have an experience and I want them to remember me. So you don't want them to forget you. You want to stand out, go the extra mile. One of the things that we do is we have these little tote bags and we put a letter in it. And it's like, hey, we're super excited to meet with you at our listing appointment, da-da-da. And, you know, this is just to let you know that we're super excited. It gives you something to read about us, before we come. And then we also have like a keychain in there. So it says when you decide to list with us, you'll just put your key on this keychain, we'll put on the lockbox. So that tote bag gets delivered to the house prior to our listing appointment. So when we do that, we have like it's kind of like a seller guide. I believe Command Designs have those. And it has all of our testimonials in there. It has like our track record, and it talks about, what's different about us, what they get from using us. And then we also have in there, like if you are interviewing other agents, these are the questions that you should ask them. And obviously when you do that, make sure that if they ask you those questions, you can say yes. So one of the things that we have on there is that we list your home in 4 MLSs. Most agents don't realize that they could definitely do that. Actually, you could list them in more than that. But for us, it's Middle Georgia, Central, Georgia MLS, FMLS. And I would imagine y'all can do the same, correct?
Yes, so MLS now has a partnership with multiple MLS systems where now it's all sharing
Yes.
with each other. So if you go on MLS, you can search in Alabama, you can search now in
Yes.
Middle Georgia, even
So-
Florida. And so they have the same reciprocal way. So
Yes.
it's also
So what you want to do, you want to dig into that and see when you put your listing in, how many MLSs go in there.
Does it show up in all those MLSs or just in FMLS?
Yes.
it shows up in
Yeah.
and yes. Well, their agents have the ability to search and so you
And
have
be
the
able
ability
to see
search listings in Alabama now, and you just go check out the Alabama.
And I know more about the Georgia MLS because where we're at,
Mhm.
y'all are more FMLS, but definitely look at that because it's all about how you word it, right? You're not making it up. If you could put because for us, Georgia MLS, you put it in there and it's automatically now Georgia MLS, middle Georgia, and Central Georgia. I believe that's the correct names of them. However, other agents are able to do that too, but it's all in what we word it, how we word it, right? That because a lot of agents don't know that. If a buyer asks or a seller asks them, are you going to put my house on, the other agent's going to put my house on 5 MLSs. Can you do that? And more than likely that agent is going to be like, well, I'm only part of one and I could put on FMLS as well. Because in our area, that's what it looks like, Georgia MLS, FMLS. So it's stuff like that is like, okay, you want to give them that information and don't let that be a secret to the consumer, because there's so much of that stuff that as we start really digging into it, we know that, well, how can we use that to sell ourselves to our clients? Also, if you have a historic home, you have a home that could eventually be a possible like event, like a wedding venue, stuff like that. There are specialized websites that you can put those homes in. One of them's like circahomes.com. There's tons of them. So if you have a listing appointment and the house is like, and I don't know if you have this here, but if you have a house that was built like in the 1880s, and you're preparing, you could come and say, hey, look, I'm going to put your house on, 4 specialty sites that more than likely another agent's not even going to be thinking about. They're just going to put it in your standard MLS and put a sign in the yard and call it done. So really look at that for specialty properties. So do you have a question? No. Okay, and then value. You definitely want to show them why you are the best agent for them. That kind of goes into that. It kind of ask yourself what is different about you and what you can provide, and then make sure, like, it's really weird if you're at a listing appointment and you're having to talk about this stuff, because for a listing appointment, you want that to be about them and their property, not about you. So that's why I take the opportunity of giving them that information in the forefront, because I definitely, I want them to read about that stuff. And then I will ask them, you got that packet. Did you have any questions? I'd love to answer them for you. So take that time to really say, okay, what value do I have? What can I do for them that maybe another agent doesn't know to do or won't do? And make sure that's in there, and be specific and give like a customized CMA. And that is really kind of what I was talking about with the properties. If there is something different about that property, be prepared. See if there's other avenues to do some marketing on it. I really do think that, the market's shifting for us where you could put the sign in the yard, put on MLS and do the things that we have been doing, but it's sitting on the market for a lot longer for us, where for the last year and a half, 2 years, I mean, you literally your seller breathed that they were going to sell, and you're like scrambling that it doesn't sell before you list it. That's changed. So it's really like, okay, how are we going to market this and get it to as many people as possible, and be prepared to show that to them? Because what I have found is that I have not came across a lot of agents that I went up against that were doing that. So when the sellers are coming back to me, and when I ask them, well, why did you pick me? Because I want to know. And if they don't hire me, why not? I want to know. And they say you really dug into the marketing piece and explain why that's so important right now. So it goes into, that's also shift tactic 8. What I would recommend all of y'all to do is read shift tactic 7, which is about pricing, and 8, which is on staging too. So write that down so you could read it, because it is so important. So with when you're also there and you're going through everything, right now staging is important. So that's one of the values that we bring as a team, is that I do have a stager that we partnered with, and I do a free consultation for my sellers. And this has made my life so easy. How many of you have done this or do this on a regular? Okay. Why didn't y'all tell me when I got into the, I mean, y'all been in the business longer than me.
The teacher tells them the stuff we don't want to tell them.
Oh my goodness, it is.
The teacher gets them to do all sorts
It's
of
amazing.
things that
And
I can't get them
yes,
to do.
yes. So,
Even in the height of the market.
oh yeah.
So
Well,
you got
and
more
we did
market.
it during the last year and a half, and I swear to you, they get more.
Get more money.
They get more.
Can you share what that's costing you, or how much?
Yeah. So typically it would cost me $250 a listing. However, I worked with my stager, and I was like, look, if they do hire you for the job, I don't want to have to pay that, because then I did my job of selling you to them. And she agreed to that. Are y'all doing the same thing? You pay regardless if they hire it?
More, they can pay for that.
Okay.
She
So
just goes,
yeah.
tells them what to do.
So
I'm not
what
good at
that,
stuff.
yeah. What it looks like is, I tell my seller, hey, I have a stager that's going to come to your house and basically make life easy for you. She's going to break down every room. She's going to give you an itemized report, and it's going to be as small detailed as removing the frame above the bed and move the one from here to here. Like, I mean, she gets really detailed, and she gives them the itemized report per room in the house. And I tell them, a lot of my sellers decide just to hire her for her services. And what we have found is that stage homes sell quicker and faster, which saves money and time for our sellers. And I would say 8 out of 10, my sellers end up using the stager. So not only does that now make it where I'm not having to pay it because it gets eaten up in the cost that's going to the seller. She basically just takes off the consultation because now they're getting the job. And they come through and they even pack stuff for my sellers, and they have a relationship with a moving company, so they bring movers in and do all that. And staging right now is so important because at the end of the day, buyers want a value and they want a move-in ready home. They do. And you can have a home. I have a great example. I have some townhomes in Noonan that my investor, he owns all of them, all 6. And we're selling them as the tenants are moving out. And the very first one, empty, and fresh carpet, fresh paint, just empty. And we listed it and it just seemed dark. Then he told me after we sold that one, he was like, I want the price to go up for every single one by about 20 grand. Okay. And this is like right as everything started shifting. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And we had a appraisal issue on that first one. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do here? So the second one, and they're all the same, like literally the same homes. The second one, we staged it, and believe it or not, I had a lot of the same agents that show the first one, show the second one. And they told me, they're like, oh my gosh, this one is so much better than the last one. Like, this is beautiful. And we got 30,000 more.
So by staging,
for
did you have furniture
that
brought
one.
in?
Yes.
Okay, because the
Yes.
tenants had moved out, so you
Yes.
paid for, or you had furniture brought in.
And I ate this cost.
And how much does that cost to have like a household of
She,
furniture brought
because
in?
I told her, hey, look, we're gonna be doing all the 5 rest. What can you do for me? So it's $1,000 for each. And the way that I look at it though, this investor, I've sold a lot of properties for him and I got many to go. So it's, you kind of weigh it out,
Right.
if it makes sense. But it worked. And now he's thinking, okay, well, then the next one we could sell it for 30 more. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait a second, So I explained to him what I did though. And I was like, look, we could push it, but the problem is how our market is. And I'm going to get to that, knowing the stats and showing him how everything's changed, just in the last 2 months. Like, we need to be very careful with the pricing and pushing it too high. But it definitely makes a difference because it makes the house seem so much brighter and welcoming and all of that just by staging. But Tactic 8 in this shift, it really talks about that. It talks about stats, which those are from 2008. I do have some stats for you to write down so you could use this for your sellers. Per NAR, 82% of buyers said that staging a home made it easier for a buyer to visualize the property as a future home. 46% liked staging the living room. 43% for master bedroom. 35% kitchen.
Say that again, I'm sorry, were you repeating those three?
The living room was 46%, master bedroom 43%, and kitchen is 35%.
And what was the first thing? 87% of buyers
82% of buyers said that a stage home made it easier for them to visualize.
So this is funny, we haven't had conversations around staging and it feels like forever because
we haven't needed to.
Right, but this reminded me 2 years ago, I had some flippers that flipped a great house and it was cute as a button, fresh new everything, and yet the house was not selling because one of the secondary bedrooms was tiny. And the feedback was that, oh, that bedroom's too small, that bedroom's too small. But as soon as we paid a stager to go in and set it up as a kid's room and show, like, yes,
how cute,
kids' furniture and everything can fit in here, and they still have a place to play, and then it sold.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, I did not realize until I got into real estate that majority of people cannot visualize. Because my husband and I, every home that we bought, we are those buy and live and flip. I don't know if y'all have heard that terminology, but we live and flip all of our homes, and it's worked amazing. But every home that we bought, our very first one, 2010, was a foreclosure. And I mean, absolutely disgusting. And however, when I walk into a home, I could visualize. I could see it exactly how I want it to be. So I just thought that was normal. And then when I got into real estate and I started working with these buyers, like they just don't see it. And you're like, oh my gosh, no, this is so cute. Just imagine painting, like how many are you like when you show a house and the buyer's like, I just hate, I'm going to have to paint this house. And you're thinking, really? That's what's got you stuck. I mean, painting the house is really not that big of a deal. But they do, they have a hard time seeing it. So that is where I think it's so important. Another thing is the challenge sellers consistently face is that very few people have the imagination to visualize beyond what they see. And that is a direct quote from there. So,
Can I ask you a quick question?
So I have 3 listings, they're all empty, and they all got caught literally in the shift.
Yeah.
Like, they literally,
yeah,
I mean, we went on Memorial Day vacations, people had graduation parties.
yeah,
Everybody came back, and so my fear, all of them can stand to be staged. All of them have moved out, they're all empty, and they are not motivated. One bought a $1.3 million house. We're like, yeah, we can sit on it for a year. Who cares? Why, in the meantime,
Great.
I'm like, but you hired me to sell your home.
yeah,
So my question is, I get worried that I'm going to tell them to do the staging or paint the kitchen cabinets that are red and horrible or whatever, and then it's still going to sit. Like I am so freaked out by this market.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
do you ever have that conversation, like? Or, and maybe it's, I mean, we've done price adjustments on
Yeah.
2 of the 3.
Yeah.
And it's still nothing.
So, and it's, so first off, the price adjustment thing, I think it's really interesting because even in the shift, it talks about the price adjustments and how a home with a price adjustment sits on the market 6 to 8 times longer than a home not. And the whole pricing strategy in there, which is tactic 7, really has made me think differently on price reductions because there's that window of opportunity, right? And that is something that I do believe that a conversation needs to be had. Is like every listing has a window of opportunity, and then when you're out of it, it is so hard to rebound. And unfortunately, you know, hindsight's 2020. However, when your house was listed, this is what's happened to the market since. And I would let the data speak for itself. You know, even like just going back, I don't know if anyone's doing this here for your area. If not, start doing it. But my admin every day for the last 2 months, first thing she does in the morning, she pulls up our MLS and she does Fayette and Coweta County because those are our main 2. And she does how many new listings came on the market that day, how many new new listings, how many active, how many went under contract in the last 24 hours, how many closed, how many price reduction, expired, and withdrawns, okay? And then like a total. And what's really interesting, when you look at that, you could see when, and because it's dated, you could see when all of a sudden, like our market, like in Peachtree City 30269, on a regular for a year, our average listings on the market for 30269 was about 33 listings at any given time. It's not a lot. Like 33 listings, and then we have like 900 agents. That's crazy. And then now we are more than double. Like as of this morning, we have 75. So I would use the stats to show them, and if there's a way to go back, I'm not sure, but maybe if you kind of reach out to the agents here, see if anyone has been doing that. If not, do it now. And just kind of let those stats show and say, we need to do something, and here are my suggestions.
And if you stage, I'm assuming you go back and retake pictures.
Oh,
Because
most definitely.
I told them, I'm like, we can't sell your house if we can't get people.
Most definitely.
Your house will not sell unless
Yes.
we're getting showings.
Most definitely, yeah. And I might even, I don't know, someone might disagree. If it's really like, okay, there's a lot that needs to be done here, I might withdraw it, take it off maybe on like a Tuesday, right after a weekend, get it all going, and then put it back either like that Thursday.
Don't you have to wait a
If you
certain number
can.
of days though before the day ticker stops and starts over? I mean, doesn't it have to
I
be
don't know.
off the market like 90 days?
Oh,
before
no.
your total days on market starts over?
No.
It doesn't?
No,
No.
but yeah, it will be a new listing. But the problem is though, and I would let them know, say, look, you know, the way just our industry is, nothing's a secret. So the history is going to be there. However, what we want to do, we want to show them the value and what we're doing to bring that value, because at the end of the day, I mean, buyers are just not attracted to it. And then when you do that, just really plan for I would go back and do the open house, and I would do all this, and I would even share that with them. Like, here is my plan for us to get
Relaunch it.
yeah, relaunch, and then do a broker open and all that, because
I brought that up not too long ago, and somebody was like, nobody does broker opens anymore, but I would buy all of you lunch. If you would come to my listing.
hey, but you know what though, and I get that, because to be honest with you, I don't go to them unless I don't go to them unless if one of my colleagues, one of my agents calls me specifically, it's like, hey girl, I would appreciate it. Will you come to this? I'm like, yeah, I gotta eat lunch anyway. I'll go. So it's just, I'm not like purposely looking for them. However, it's all about showing your client what we're doing for them and saying, look, I'm doing everything that I can, because what you don't want is talk.
Yes.
And someone's like, oh, well, they didn't do a
Yes.
broker open house, you know?
I did one last year, like going into January, February, because I had a listing that I was having a challenge with.
Yeah.
And it was great. I had a bunch of people here
Yeah.
come, and that is exactly it. It is your client's perception.
Yes.
That-
And that's
I
what I'm
did
worried
get a
about.
lot of tidbits and a lot of
Yeah.
information from my fellow agents, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
I also got stuff like food and stuff from a local community.
Yes.
So I was able to
Have your vendors
Yeah.
fund it for you. But you know what I just thought of? If they're not sold on making those changes or staging or any of that, then you need to have the broker open house ASAP. And when those agents are coming through, you need to straight up ask them, do you think, first ask, what do you think? And then see if they're gonna be honest with you or not. And then you're gonna have to start saying, you know, do you think it needs to be staged? And you need to have them writing that stuff down. So then you can say, look, that this is, I mean, you don't want to say like, well, put it needs to be staged in the cabinets.
Right, yeah.
But you do want to get some of that feedback, so you're not the bad guy.
Well, and something else I've been doing, and I would encourage everybody to do this, there's another listing on the same street with a different brokerage. And that agent and I have become very good friends.
Yeah.
She's having
Yeah.
the same issue I am.
Yeah.
We are not holding secrets from each other.
Yeah.
We're being open and honest with each other. And she texted me yesterday and she said, we're drawing a listing, we're staging,
Yeah.
we're doing the photos.
And
going
you
back
need
on
to
the
tell
market.
them that.
I mean, we've coordinated
Yeah.
our open houses, like we've completely, you know, so I'm so grateful for that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a great idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, I didn't mean to get off topic, but I'm just struggling
And
with
with that, I would use that information. So when you're doing, because I do weekly check-ins with the market with my sellers. So basically, I would say, hey, 1, 2, 3, you know, Main Street, I spoke to that agent. This is what they're doing, and what I am afraid of is that your house is going to help sell that one.
Yeah.
So I came up with a strategic plan This is what I suggest that we do. And then this is what I'm gonna do after to push it, to expose it to as many buyers as possible. But that's a great, I love that you asked that, because I think all of us can relate to that.
You said one thing earlier, to challenge sellers' face is like a really good script.
Yeah, well, it was straight from the shift, so I can't claim it. The shift sellers consistently face is that very few people have the imagination to visualize beyond what they see. Let's see if I have any other, but yeah, and I know I mentioned the price improvements. When you do that, like sellers are missing that window of opportunity. So sometimes it's better to fix the issue and figure out a way to remarket rather than the price reduction, because then people are thinking something's wrong. You know, and that is totally opposite from what I feel like I was taught from the moment, because I've been in real estate since 2016, and I feel like I always heard, like, if the house is on the market for 2 weeks and 10 showings, 10 days, no offers, price reduced. But when you read this, it says something different. And so it really was an aha, because I read this back in 2019 when apparently we were supposed to have a shift in 2020, but really we just had a huge boom in 2020. And I didn't catch that. So I would go back to it because it's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. So professionalism, sorry, this is all messed up, but basically it says know your local market numbers. That's going to what I was saying, what my admin does. I would really, really recommend you doing it, especially, and if you need to break it down to specific cities, depending on where you break it down as much as you need to. Know your personal numbers as well. This past year, I was using, at all my listing appointments, I was using, the average price point, list price to sales price in our area, in our market, is 103%. However, mine is 112%. And sellers are like, oh, that's amazing. Now I'm going to have to figure out a new script, because as the market shifts, things are going to be a little different. But know your numbers so you know how to use that to set yourself apart. And then be prepared. So the shift tactic 7 talks about pricing. And basically in real estate, and it's always been like this, but we're going to see it more now, and we are seeing it more now, is that the price conflict is that the asking price a seller wants versus the price a buyer is willing to pay. So that is something that our sellers needs to understand. We're coming out of a market where all they're hearing is the multiple offers, and you could basically, and I know in our area, you could basically throw a number up there within 50 to 100 grand, and you're probably going to get you're going to get it if more. I mean, and I'm going to share this with y'all, but like this particular house, I mean, I sold a couple of them in this neighborhood, and they were getting like $100,000 more, and like I think it was like 80,000 more than appraisal value. I mean, it was nuts. So now that's changed. Is we have to be really strategic with the pricing, and making the wrong impression will cost the seller time and money, price or how it shows. So that's where it is the pricing, and then also the staging. So
around that pricing, you're at a listing appointment, and the seller just saw, Bob and Joe just sold their house down the street back in March for $50,000 over asking, and now that's where they want that price to be.
Yeah.
How are you handling that conversation?
How I'm handling it is this right here, knowing the local market numbers. So I'm explaining to them that the market shifted, and everyone knows that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just things were getting way too affordable, and we're having to kind of rebound, and things are stabling out. So because of that, it is very imperative that we're listening accordingly to what the market value is now. And yes, that is a comp of yours. However, let's see what's on the market now and how you are competing, how your house is going to sell compared to the rest that's on the market. And what I wish I have done is kept track of that for the last year, so then I could show, you know, if we list your house now, you're competing with 12 homes versus when that house listed, it competed with 1. You know, we could basically use that script now if you know your market well enough. I know if it's a Peachtree City home, I could very much say that, because we had in some price points, we had like none.
It's inventory and interest.
Yeah, it's inventory, interest rate. Oh, most definitely. And then also, and a lot of times what the seller will say, so you're telling me I missed the market. That's what we're hearing, right? And I say, well, did you? Were you ready to sell then? Because I think that whatever market that you need that you're selling in or buying in is the market that's right for you, because you're going to be, especially if they're selling and buying, you're doing it in the same market. Now, where it could hurt is if you bought in April and now you're selling now.
Ooh.
A lot of people didn't do that though. A lot of people did the opposite. They sold and they're like, we're just going to figure it out. We have a lot of people that lived in and still living in their like campers and stuff like on their property. Yeah. I never thought about doing that.
Because I mean, I could have gotten so much more for it in the spring.
I know. Yeah, our house has gotten crazy value for it. And my husband he's like, oh my goodness, we could sell it and make how much? And I'm like, Brian, because we do y'all do your net worth tracker with your spouse? I would really push for you to do that. But we do that. So I'm putting in the market value of our house. He's like, oh my gosh, you think we could sell them? I'm like, yeah, I just sold our neighbor's house. He's like, well, we need to sell them. I'm like, where are we going to go? I'm that seller. Where am I going to go?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I got off topic. Okay. I do want to ask y'all if you have any questions. I don't know if y'all are out at 12.
Technically, yes, but we love
Okay. Okay.
And I'm sure we ask questions
I
if we
would
have
love to answer any questions. I do. This is something that I bring with me, and it does have just a little bit. I use Cloud CMA. Do y'all use this?
Yeah.
I love Cloud CMA. Love it. But there is something in here that if I'm going to pass this around, if you want to take a picture of this, I stole it from an agent myself, so feel free. Y'all can steal it from me. Yes, definitely. But I have this page right here is 159 ways the Glennie Group assists our sellers. And I do put this in here. And I have a smaller version of it that actually goes into our selling guide that is left at their house. So I'll just pass this around if y'all want to look at it. Yes.
Have you ever dealt with a property that has a large amount of land in the house, part of the property in the outskirts? How would you work with that?
So we are KW Land. Are you part of KW Land?
No, I touch you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would definitely look into it. Are you going to Mega Camp?
No, but I was at family reunion and I was looking into it then.
Yeah, because we signed up at
At family reunion.
family reunion. So I have leveraged that actually out to one of my buyer's agents that she loves land and she loves walking through lands and doing all that. And she enjoys that kind of stuff. So she's doing the KW Land. And so with the marketing piece of it, I would definitely really look at what KW Land has to offer. We have not, since we just joined, we have not listed a piece of land property yet to
It's land with house on it.
do it. But even if it has a house on it, you can, because what I would do, this isn't being recorded, because I don't know if this is okay with your MLS, but if you have like a lot of land with a home, I would list it as a land lot and as single family resident, because you have people that are looking, you don't want to miss someone.
Right. That's
If
what I was
they're-
thinking of doing, is
Yeah.
putting them both.
And I think that's okay, right?
I just did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you have to pay like $25 for the second listing,
Okay.
so you can do that.
Okay. I just didn't want to say something if it's against GAR or something.
Yeah, I figured it might be better that it goes into several areas because of 7 acres plus a house.
Yes, and then I would also, what I would look at are Google, like, land for sale Georgia, and look at what kind of sites pop up, and then really kind of look at those sites and see if they're actually like worth to put your property in there, or if they pull from the MLS. Some of them automatically pull, but then there might be something that you'd be like, okay, maybe I should go in here and add it. Yeah. Yes.
When you are doing a listing appointment, you take the tote bag before,
Mm-hmm.
you hang it on the door if they're not
Yeah.
here, or
Yeah.
you have your runner do it.
Yeah.
What else do you put in that tote bag?
I have some koozies that have the Glennie Group logo on it. This is part of my logo, has our Glennie Group logo. I also have,
You did the keychain.
I do the keychain.
Do you just have to tag to that has that cute little thing on it?
No, we put a letter in there that I actually sign. My assistant puts everything together. She prints the letter, like she does it all, and then she just has me sign it. And I typically just have my son, who's 17, go deliver it, and then I could be like, I'll give you gas money and $5, you know. Yeah. And then I also I've got a lot of little different stuff that I've just collected over the years from going to family reunion, mega camp. So I got like the scraper, like the kitchen scrapers. Like I just kind of, especially if a lot of times I try to Facebook stalk, kind of see their personality, and like if I'm like if I feel like maybe they, you know, it's a guy or something, I'll throw one of my bottle openers in there, magnetic bottle openers. But if it's, you know, a single woman, you know, I probably won't do that, you know. A wine bottle. I do need one of those. Then it'll be a wine bottle opener. Yeah.
Any other questions?
So good.
Wow, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate it.
All right, we have our lunch sponsor today is Joy James with Guarantee Mortgage. He's also teaching a class here soon, so make sure you stick around for it. We're excited for that.
Hey guys.
Hey, Joy.
I think I know everybody in the room, but in case you don't know me, and I never get to do little sponsor parts, I'm just going to talk about Guarantee Mortgage and myself a little bit today instead of products and rates. I'm tired of talking about the products and rates. But I am with Guarantee Mortgage, and Guarantee Mortgage is just right around the corner. If you guys ever want to come to our office, it is literally just around the corner. So that means we're local, right? And as you guys go into this shifting market, I think that's going to be more and more important. Okay, so we do everything there. We process, we underwrite, we close, we do everything there. We have been in business like over 20 years. We have been in this office as a strategic partner. I think it's maybe 12, 13 years now. It's over 10, and I've been in this market center supporting you guys. So if you haven't had the opportunity to work with us, please call me. I think as things start to change a little bit, you know, you're going to want somebody that's been around, it's professional, and has gone through, I've been through it all, I've been through all the ups and downs. So I'll be here again. And we as far as products, we are full service, conventional, jumbo. We have some great jumbo products right now. If you guys are anything over, you know, you're 600, 700, 1,000, million, we do all that. So we have some niche products we've talked about, some bank statement programs, things like that. So call me, I'm here. I know you guys are hungry and ready to eat. After the class, there's a lunch and learn, and it is about VA and FHA loans.